Cadash on the TurboGrafx-16 Mini. This was actually a game that I read quite a bit about when it first came out, back in, 1990? I remember, I want to say this was a Sega Genesis game as well. Victor Ireland over at Working Designs. You know, the Lunar Silver Story translators. They did a bunch of Sega CD games and PlayStation 1 games that people over here in the United States are definitely familiar with if they grew up in the era and they were into Japanese RPGs. But before they made those games, they made at least a dozen, I want to say, localizations of TurboGrafx-16 and PC Engine games. Basically, they went to the PC Engine over in Japan, which was, let's be honest, was still hot stuff in the late 80s. It was the most popular console in Japan in the late 80s. So if you're Victor Ireland and you're Working Designs, you're probably saying, okay, what games are coming out over in Japan in late 89, early 1990? Because obviously the Genesis was coming out and they wanted to get their foot in the door with some of those games, obviously. But Cadash was apparently an arcade game that I'd never heard of. I found out after the fact that Cadash was an arcade game that got ported to the PlayStation, that got ported to the PC Engine over in Japan. Working Designs translated it and brought it over here. I don't know if this was their first console game. They wound up doing a bunch of games that are included on the Turbo 16 Mini. I think, is Military Madness one of theirs? Because if it's not, I know they did Bastille, which was a turn-based strategy game on the TurboGrafx CD, I want to say. And, what was the other one they did? They did Parasol Stars, which is also included on this collection. I'll be trying to play that again later. I couldn't quite make sense of it. It's supposed to be like Bubble Bobble, so we'll see how that goes. Where's my... I gotta get my manual out. This Cadash manual is not very useful at all. I tried playing this game for half an hour. It is really hard. It starts out pretty linear. It's a side-scrolling action game. They call it an action RPG. It's an action game. It's like a Faxanadu. But it's walk to the left, walk to the right. You fight large enemies with large sprites. You get into boss fights. Then once you beat the boss, you wind up advancing through the world. But there are experience points in this game. There is gold to collect, and you use it to buy items. But that alone isn't enough for me to call it an action RPG. But yeah, you know how it is. It's an action game. If you treat it like an action game, you'll be fine. I personally think it's kind of janky, but we'll see how it goes. I tried playing this game with all 4 characters, so we're going to give it a shot. And let me bring out my manual here. There's not a lot to explain early on, because we're going to die a lot. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to fail as quickly as I did the first time I played. Let's see. First things first. 1 player. You can play... There's couch co-op in this game, apparently. I want to say there are no more than 3 enemies on screen, maybe 4. It's not really that big a deal. We're going to use a guy here, the ninja, because he's probably the worst character from my experience. He's supposed to be the fastest, but as far as I'm concerned, all that means is that he just runs into danger more quickly. We could call him Guy. Or Kage. Well, first of all, if you were a ninja, what would your name be? Well, let's call him Guy. Groove me. Jam. Woo. Jam. Let's see. Yeah. Waited long for a brave warrior. Dears are, we're at peace, etc. and so forth. They kidnapped my only daughter, because why would they... Well... Who else would they kidnap? They could have kidnapped a baby, I guess. But if you're going to kidnap someone, it might as well someone who's marriageable, am I right? Video games. So I have shurikens. The jump here is actually kind of stiff. Like, hold... Snap to the A button, or the 1 button on this TurboGrafx controller. You're not supposed to turn the turbo on in this game. At least if you're playing as a magic user. You have to hold down the attack button if you're a magic user. But let's be honest, this is not particularly... Oh, sorry. I don't have any companions. So I guess I can set the turbo on. Yeah, but I'm not really feeling this. So the controls are pretty basic. Okay, we can press up to throw upward. Can we throw Let me see if we can throw diagonally. Yeah, we can throw diagonally, which is actually not that useful. They actually throw downward, which is nice. And you can throw directly downward. I'm not sure if it will ever be useful, but you can throw directly below you. And that's pretty much all you need to know, if I'm being honest. In fact, let me go to the controls. Give me a second, I gotta go to the manual. But yeah, I want to say it's all this character can really do. Not Shu-Man Fu, Cadash. Yeah, so you can throw up, he can throw to the side, he can throw diagonally up. Yeah, he's a ninja. That's it, he can throw on diagonals, that's all you need to know. He can throw on diagonals, he's a ranged character. He's also supposed to be fast, but first of all, there's no way to see how much gold you have in your inventory, so that's not particularly useful. The lack of parallax scrolling is somewhat disturbing, but let's be honest, the PC Engine did not have native parallax scrolling, so if the developers didn't add it, you were never going to get it. But it would require some tricks, I'm sure aren't really that big of a deal. Select is not used. I could think of one very useful function for that select key, and it would be showing me how much experience I have. Because apparently the only way to see how much experience and gold you have is to go to an inn or some kind of shop. Like, very antiquated design there. I don't know what's going on with that. Kind of hard to time this. And the enemies here are kind of fast. Like, this is an arcade game, remember? So, it's sort of about overwhelming numbers. And I kind of get the idea. It's like, hey, here's a side-scrolling action game with relatively large sprites. So I can kind of see the appeal of converting it to the PC Engine. And you're already getting a game that's pretty demanding on the. And if you try to do this with Nintendo on the NES, you have to make the sprites a lot smaller. But yeah, I want to say a Genesis version did come out because Lord knows Genesis had so many of these Me Too side-scrolling platformers, side-scrolling action platformers. The fantasy settings. Like, off the top of my head, I'm thinking of Sword of Sodan, Blades of Vengeance. What was that other game they made? Well, they didn't make a Styan Axe, but they made a bunch of those games like this. In fact, this game kind of looks like, artistically speaking, it kind of reminds me of Legendary Axe, which apparently doesn't hold up. I mean, I've reserved judgment on it. I can't get past the first, 20 minutes of the game. I never really played it for that long. These enemies keep respawning, by the way. So if you want to grind up here, you can. But the obvious problem with this game is that there's nowhere to really... You can't really level up. I mean, you can level up, but the real problem here is that, even if you grind up here, all you're really getting is a little bit more health. I mean, I don't know if you're learning any extra abilities. And again, there's no way to know how much experience you get. See, my level went up. That's great, I guess. But then there's the other problem, which is, okay, now that I'm stronger, what can I actually do with that? I mean, I should mention that things, according to the instruction manual, the mage gains levels the fastest, which raises the obvious problem of, well, what about all the other kids? Yeah, you not want to fall in that water. If you fall in that water, that's basically a death hit. You don't die right away, but it's hard to get out once you're in that water. It's worse than Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, and these bats with the Medusa sine wave flight patterns from Castlevania are a lot of fun. Again, enemies are fast in this game. So you kind of have to keep them on the side of it. And because your character is so large, that you're basically just kind of moving to the left and to the right. Like, there's not a lot of, like, empty space in this game. Whoops, here's a problem. See, again, sometimes enemies will show up in really weird angles like that, and I'm not sure how to get past them. I don't know if that's a cheap hit situation, but I'm not sure of a reliable way to get past them. Other than just taking the hit. And that's not cool. And again, I don't know how much gold I have. Yeah, see, I can't... See, that's bad. I had no idea how to get past that guy. Yep, no idea how to get past that guy. There also might be secrets in this game. I don't know how they're unlocked. I don't know if that gap up there in the ceiling is something I could have, like, fallen through to speed things up. It's a good question. I mean, the basic problem is I don't know how secrets work in this game. Yep, took the hit. I might have had to retreat and climb the vine to get past that guy. This guy's a problem, too. These spiders. See, you gotta, And the web just saps your energy. It's like... Yeah, the web saps your energy. Like poison damage. Yeah! That's the other problem, is that these enemies just keep respawning. So you might get knocked backwards, and the enemies just respawn right where you got knocked backward. This gets pretty nasty over here. Whoops. Careful. Yeah, took a hit right there. And here's the boss. Here's where I'm gonna die. By the way, I took a medicinal herb apparently when I died, but the problem is that again, I can't see my inventory or anything. The black pudding has appeared! Not a slime, it's pudding. How can you have your pudding if you don't eat your meat? Ow! And guy's dead. So this will be the brick wall we face for all 4 of our characters, if I'm being honest, because I save points. Don't be absurd. Why would you play a video? Why would a video game need save points, especially if it's an RPG? So that failed miserably. So we're gonna go to the fighter. Now I could call him Conan, but we're only allowed 4 letters, so we're gonna call him Onan. For no particular reason. Da, 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 da. Oh, Dad. The adventurer. Oh, Dad. Warrior without seed is more powerful than any man. Okay. You saw what I did there with the seed bit, right? So we're just gonna move on. I'm just trying to keep things light, because this game's gonna get really frustrating. As you just saw, this game gets really frustrating in a hurry. I want to say this dude's wearing fewer clothes than the female priestesses, or something to be said for that. This dude's letting it all hang out. A true barbarian. Bare arms and bare legs. Oh, man. So, oh yeah, you can hold down the, hold down up to do a sort of an upward arc, which is a more useful angle for attacking, I would argue. Other than that, there's really not much to say. He has a downward stab like Zelda 2, but... Again, there's not much to this game. I mean, it's basically just this. Until you can get past the pudding. There's not much strategy here. I mean, I would argue this is not a much better game than Splatterhouse. Splatterhouse is annoying because it's so brain dead. I mean, this game seems about as linear. But at least you can level up. That's an inappropriate image for Onan. So what are we gonna do with the, Well, the big problem is, again, some of these enemies these enemies will respawn, so that ain't the problem. You can just sit here and just let the enemies respawn repeatedly. Like, this is like old school grinding. So let me do a quick save. This isn't going to make a huge difference. I'll just make a quick save for every character. Like I'm going to do a grind set for every character, I guess. Like, I never got a chance... Like, I did rent Faxanadu on launch, but I never really... what is it? I don't think I ever got past, like, the second stage. Like, I remember there was a boss that I beat, and then there was some area that I couldn't get past because it required a key. And I forgot that there was... And apparently I read a strategy guide back in the day after I returned the game. Because I got stuck in that one area where it's like, wait, where am I supposed to go? Then I'm like, oh, you're supposed to hold up here in front of the door. I'm like, I couldn't see that door. That door looked like it was, like, hidden in the background. So I got maybe 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half into Faxanadu, maybe 2 hours. I wandered back and forth. I had no idea where to go. And then I just gave up on the game. Then I found out after the fact that the reason I got stuck was because there was a door I didn't recognize. But again, I was a kid. So the fact that I got stuck there probably wasn't a huge deal. Because if I were to play that game again, I would probably skip right past that part and never even be bothered by it. So I'm always willing to go back and play games that I got stuck playing when I was a kid. Because while I might have more patience, I don't know if I have more patience as an adult now or less. But when it comes to playing old games, it's like, where did I get stuck playing this game when I was a kid? Well, in the case of Battletoads, it was a case of, just the game was just incredibly obtuse and unforgiving. The death penalty was too high. So for the kind of game Battletoads is on the NES, even with a Game Genie, it's kind of frustrating. Even if you have a Game Genie. Onan's now level 4. But yet, I mean, again, if I go back and play Faxanadu, I would not get stuck again. I think I'd be able to figure it out. There are some games like Legacy of the Wizard. I never really played them officially. I played them with a cheat code. That's not really fair. Like, I use a password to skip to the end or something. That's not really fair. Oh yeah, I remember if I hold up, I can also do the overhead chop. I don't think it even makes a difference. All these enemies go down in one hit anyway. So I don't know what difference that makes. And again, if there's no way for me to see what experience level I have, how do I know how many points I'm getting by beating these guys? Can I just sit here for 10 hours and beat the game like in Ys 3? Or do I have to play it like Simon's Quest and move to a new area so enemies stop giving you experience points if you stick around? I don't know. It's the kind of thing that working designs would change, I guess. Because you know how it is. Working design tried to fix video games, and they localized them sometimes. Sometimes they made it harder, sometimes they made it easier, I forget. It was a whole thing back in the day. Working designs would tweak games to make them more palatable to North American audiences. And it was really fraught back then, because back in those days, games were constantly being changed when they were getting localized anyway. It didn't matter if Nintendo or Konami was doing it, everyone would change these games. Sometimes for the better. I mean, Super Mario Bros. 2 is the most obvious example, because they took a completely different game, put Mario sprites in it, and apparently they tweaked the mechanics a bit. I think they tweaked the controls, I forget. God, see this again. That crap. What was I supposed to do there? How am I supposed to get past that dumb skeleton anyway? It's a standoff. Face my star metal sword, skeleton! Anyway. Guess we're gonna have to retreat. There he is. So that was probably the way to get past all this. So I guess that vine is just kind of a whoop! That vine's kind of a trick. We went down to one stab, that's good. So having all these hit points isn't terribly helpful. Okay. Look out for the volcanic rocks that are in the background. That crap! Stupid. I haven't taken as much damage as I expected. I might actually survive this pudding. Don't come any closer. Well, I can't make any progress, so I have to keep going. Ah! Dumb hit. I can't make any progress unless I keep coming closer, so I don't know what to do. Can't have... How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? This is a brilliant... Ah! Use a medicinal herb. Those bubbles, I think, are invincible. I gotta melee this guy. Got him! Wow! Holla at your boy! Onan! On point! Onan spills the blood of his enemies. Wait till he hears the lamentation of their women. Oh, now it gets more difficult. Was that all that crap I had to deal with in the tutorial area we just went through? Yeah, Onan, stand firm, Onan. And open the seal, Onan. Wow. Everything about this is going to be really inappropriate. Oh, but it's only Mommy, why is that inappropriate? Nah, Conan's for adults. So Onan's even more for adults. It's Old Testament stuff, though. Ask your grandma. Just don't ask about it during Thanksgiving. In. Now I can go in. I have to hold up. Sell me loot. I have loot. Give me stuff. I'll slash him. I'll slash this guy and make him talk to me. Let's see. May I help you? I can sleep for 50. Now I know how much gold I have, so that's good. I might have to sleep. I can earn some more money. Did I do the wrong thing? Thank you. Come again. Yeah. I guess I need to sleep. I need to get my health back, right? I can't revive anybody because I'm dead. How do I select what I want? I don't know how to select what I want. So I press the B button, button 2, excuse me. Yes. There we go. So I had to press button 2 to select. Did I cancel that? This game is very descriptive. So press B, button 1. Whoops, wrong button. Let's try that again. So button 2. Button 2. We're not. I can't resurrect a friend. Press button 2. So I'll rest on this wooden cot. People even sleep on beds back then, or they just slept on straw or something. Of course, this takes place in some indeterminate medieval era, the era of Samaria, I suppose. Sorry, Im area. Because we're Onan. Can't sue us. We're Onan, not Conan. The Forest of Gnomes, huh? Well, I did say I was going to do some other characters, so I guess we can mess around with those. Is this guy wearing a cap? Like this guy's like Bruce Campbell, huh? He's got that mop top. The next continent. So I did better than I thought I would. That helps. I am error. Yeah. Is this like Castlevania 2? Or are you lying? Because I will cut you. If you're lying, I will come back and cut you. This isn't Castlevania 2. I guess that's when you're telling the truth. Is she wearing glasses? I'll think about it. What's the point of me buying a flail? Am I even allowed to carry a flail? I mean, we can always try earning some more loot. Yes. No, we'll come back later. We have something to build towards. What's the point of giving Onan here any better gear? Great story time with Grandma. So we're sacrificing another woman's been kidnapped. So now that's 2. 2 kidnapped women in the first 2 minutes of this game. Are we rescuing 2 women now instead of just 1? Onan took the blue key. Yeah, we rescuing 2 women now? I'm gonna have to do another save. I mean, yeah, I made it through that one area, so I guess that's good. I can grind up anywhere I want, if I'm being honest. So yeah, this playthrough might turn out to be better than I expected. I was going to try some of the other characters, depending on how quickly I die. Yeah, the lack of parallaxing is distressing, but this reasonably well-articulated character looks okay. Looks like something out of a Styanax. Although a Styanax had fewer colors to play with. A Styanax would be a very interesting game for me to revisit sometime, because I was always thrilled by the idea of playing an NES game with these massive sprites. In fact, I got the impression that Styanax was kind of trying to be like Legendary Axe on the NES. Although Styanax was an arcade game. The concept of like, a bone thrower. What's this, Castlevania? Ow! Very deviously placed. So I don't have a ranged attack. Level up. Curious to know how much gold I'm getting from these guys. If I can rush them, if I can do the rush down, I can get him as soon as he throws that bone. Yeah, throw Onan a bone. You get, son. So we can go back and forth, that's fine. Yeah, Onan here never misses leg day, but unfortunately, he seems to be a bit limited in terms of mobility, if you know what I'm saying. His skill set's a bit, you know, retro, if you know what I mean. It's a bit too, archaic. Onan's a bit too old school. He used to work on those martial arts. He used to work on his, you know, his parries and his dodge rolls. I mean, I don't know what you kids were expecting. This game came out in the late 80s. You guys expecting a dodge roll? You guys expecting dodge rolls and two-hit combos in these action games here? Come on. This is the 80s. We didn't know what a combo was back then. I mean, heck, this game is hard enough. It's hard enough that this game requires... Whoops. It's bad enough this game actually requires, like, you know... Whoops, dead. It's bad enough this game requires, like, you know, multiple... Like an overhead swing. You know what I mean? I didn't see a password. How are people supposed to save their game? It's like, is there any way to save this game? Good thing I saved, by the way. Good thing I did a save scum. Just a second, I gotta check the manual for a couple of things. We're gonna play as, the priest. We're gonna play as the priestess. We're gonna play as the, again, not that many games back then had female protagonists. You have to keep in mind how big of a deal this was in 1990. Well, 91, this was, well, actually, 91 wasn't that bad. In 91, we eventually got Chun-Li in Street Fighter 2, so it wasn't that bad. Although there was Kage, Nakia, obviously. Nakia from the River Tribe. Can't you see the resemblance? But, yeah, see the resemblance? She's got a whip, too, so we got a real Castlevania game. Here's that female Belma from Castlevania all y'all were asking for. So now the priestess gets to save the princess. Like I said, she's a priestess, so she's modest. She's more modestly coiffed than the barbarian is. Which is more than I can say for Dungeons & Dragons, the animated series. The barbarian was actually wearing more clothing than the acrobat was. Although I'm sure there were fans of the acrobat. I missed out on the acrobat when I was younger. But yeah, a lot of people I know remember her. I don't remember her name, but she was the acrobat in that show. You know, post Harlem Globetrotters, post Fat Albert, when they actually had some black protagonists in these animated series. So she's got the Castlevania whip. She can whip it upwards. Unlike Simon Belmont, she can whip in 8 different directions. Like Super Castlevania 4, although the jumping controls really suck. So, what's really cool is that if you crouch, the whip can move up and down during a single lash. So you can do this. Do the little dance. So you can whip it up and down simultaneously. See? Nice, huh? But again, the controls are so sticky that it's, like I said, the jumping controls are so limited. Like it's a really gravity-bound jump. Like it's the jump animation might be too high. It might be too fast, and it's not like responsive in a Mega Man kind of way. Yeah, there's no air control to my knowledge. Yeah, there's no air control. I didn't bother to check, but there's no air control. So it's like Super Ghouls and Ghosts. You can't change direction in midair. Yeah, you can't change direction in midair. You can only turn around. So that makes things a bit more interesting. But again, I do like the whole, you know, bob and weave. Here's the problem. Hold down the attack button. Hold down the attack button. You can get a spell ready. Now, can you switch spells? I don't know. Can I cancel out of the spells? Not that I know of. I don't think it's possible to cancel out of the spell. If I hold up, hit points recovered. But I used up a bunch of MP at the bottom of the screen. See that? So once you hold down the attack button, the magic spell selection window appears. There's no way to cancel it, to my knowledge. So you can't cancel a spell, I don't think. So as far as I'm concerned, never hold down the attack button. Otherwise, you'll wind up wasting magic points, and that sucks. I shouldn't even have wasted it here, because I have to face that dumb pudding. That's going to go very poorly for me. So I wasted a bunch of time doing that. Do I get my magic points back when I level up? I don't think so. We're going to find out, aren't we? I think her... careful. Her thing is that she's the only character with a healing spell, to my knowledge. Level raise. I did not get any MP, so I didn't get any of my magic points back. So how do I get them back? No idea. I probably have to go to an inn. So again, she's no Sylpha from Castlevania 3. Bigger sprite. Arguably a more useful melee weapon, but... And the action's faster, but it's just... It feels kind of... The action feels very, rough. It's not slow, it's just... It's responsive enough to work for an action game, I guess. But it doesn't feel responsive enough to, like I said, you can't jump. Like, you have Castlevania-like jumps. But the controls don't feel as refined. Like I said, the cheap hits are everywhere. I can't aim downward. Yeah, I can't aim down. I'm gonna have to lure this skeleton over here. That's what I mean. How do I get past this skeleton? Ow! Bastard. See, how do I get past him? Is that how I get past him? I have to lure him? I probably have to lure him. There's another skeleton down here. What do I do with that other skeleton? There's a skeleton down here. What do I do with him? So I'm gonna have to wait till he swings and aim for his head. I'm aiming for his head right here. I'm not hitting him. So I'm not hitting him. Ah! I think I'm gonna have to retreat. Ow! See, how do I get past this guy? I can't hit his head. He's blocking my whip, basically. Maybe I'm just supposed to take the hit and run past him? Well, that's too bad. So I got some health, but I used the medicinal thing, so that's not the same. So how was I supposed to get past that guy? Just take the hit and just run past him? I have no idea what they want me to do there. So I have no idea what the deal was with that. I think Onan brought down these spiders with one swing. I needed two. So I'm gonna have to heal myself at some point. Wow, that's bad. That was gonna be... I keep forgetting what the pattern is to get through this. I don't remember what the pattern is to get through that. There's a way to get through that without taking damage. Well, I'm the hero, I gotta go ahead. Just don't die here. Don't let the bats kill you on the way to the pudding. Yeah, the pudding here is the greater threat, if I'm being honest. Hit points recovered. Ow! I have to be close enough so I can duck under these things. Ah! Then, of course, that happens. Freaking pudding. I am now meat for the pudding. We'll give it one more chance. We're gonna play as the mage this time. His deal is that he has attack. He has projectile magic. Other than that, I don't know what the deal is with him. Oh, that's right. He gains experience levels more quickly than anyone else, which is good. But again, the obvious problem. He's not Gandalf. What did I call this guy last? I don't remember. What did I call him last time? Obi-Wan. Yeah, I called him Obi-Wan. So what would you call this old man with a beard? Yeah, whatever. We can call him up. We had Onan. No, there was no one with a beard in Conan, now that I think about it. Yeah, whatever. Call him Ian McKellen. You shall not pass. I ran out of amusing names for these characters, so we'll go with that. Ian McKellen. It was either that or Azim from Prince of Thieves. Is there no sun in this cursed country? Which way is east? Yeah, at least standard definition graphics are like, it's like, okay, it's like Castlevania. We're not going to draw this guy's face. But they're they're anatomic, they're every character is 3 heads high, They're anatomically correct. No, it is. So this is a game for adults, because the characters don't look like kids. So we'll see how it goes, I don't know. Hold down, you can press the up button to do a upward swing. You can also stab downward. What good will it do you? I have no idea. I see, why would you ever do this? You can just poke it. I mean, you can hold down the attack button to, like, hit him with magic. The problem being that, again, you end up wasting magic points. Because remember, if you hold down the attack button, you have to commit to the spell. As soon as you release button 2, that spell comes out. Even if you didn't mean to. Even if you accidentally held the button down. So that's disappointing. I mean, in the end, I think this game's basic appeal is that it has couch co-op. Maybe it gets harder later. By the way, wasn't there a Super CD game called Exile? Exile was, I think, a Super CD game with like a Red Book soundtrack. I learned a new spell. I wonder if the music was... I don't know if the music was actually good for Exile, but I remember it being sort of a big deal because it was a game like this. It was a 2D action platformer. It had an Arabian setting, as I recall. But again, I haven't seen a playthrough in years. I don't even remember what the game was about. I don't remember if the music was any good either. I'm meaning to get around to it. Yeah, I don't have a long reach. Guess I can't block this stuff. And all these characters just flat out suck. Maybe Onan's a bit better, I don't know. I guess the secret here is to just crouch. I mean, I tried it with the priestess. That didn't do any good. So I made it past that guy without taking a hit. Don't know how I did that. We're gonna get back. Yep, see, so I have to run away. There's no other way for me to get past the eye that I'm aware of. Ah. Drake, we are leaving. Took a lot of dumb hits there. So I can do the sword spell. I have to hold the button down, wait till the spell I want appears. This cycles through these two options automatically, in case you're wondering. I'm still holding down button 2. Okay, so I did that. Probably should have saved that for the boss. Okay, I made it through that just by running it and gunning it. I'll take a hit from the bat. Okay. Alright, so let's try a couple of things. Get over here. Ow! I win! 2 sword spells brought him down. Of course, I ran out. I used the medicinal thing, so that was probably pretty bad. Well, 2 for 4. I guess we did okay, all things considered. Yeah, the couch co-op seems to be this game's real appeal. I mean, as an action game, it's really, really lame. We're in the town of Marinade. Marinade. Sacrifice 1 young woman annually to the Kraken. This year, the stunning only daughter of an old lady who lives across the bridge will be the sacrifice. Again, now we gotta save 2 women in this game instead of just 1. I mean, that's how you raise the stakes. There's the Master Quest, where we have to save a princess. And then there's this quest. But I'm gonna need that key. I'll tell you what, I'll go. Let me go to that. Let me get that blue key. Let me establish that. I used up my medicinal herbs. So I need to get another one. There is an argument to be made that now that I have enough gold to afford stuff, I can afford to die. I can afford to burn all of my life, all of my hit points, and my medicinal herbs surviving that boss. She's a good girl with a kind heart. Well, now she's going to be sacrificed because, you know, she's of age, I suppose. Ian McKellen took the blue key. So yeah, that was very, very disappointing. Yep. I mean, this game sucks so far. I mean, I'm just gonna do a little bit of housekeeping here. When I get around to it, I'll also get around to playing some Ninja Spirit and what's that other game? The Hike clan, the Genji and Hike clans. Yeah, I've got to get some more money. Can I get another medicinal herb? It can only be used by the fighter. It can only be used by the mage, which is me. I don't know what it does. Your weapons suck. I didn't want that. Well, good thing I already saved my game. So how do I get another medicinal herb? Because I want to say I've already used it up. I hope this stabby staff is better than the one I just gave up accidentally. I mean, we're not going to save this game. Stabby staff. The best kind of staff, really. So we'll come back later. I'm not feeling this game at all. Really janky, really, really frustrating. Really frustrating regenerating enemies. Just gets really, really frustrating really quickly, I'm afraid. Well, let me get my OBS out. We'll see how it all sounded.